opening statement. Please raise your hand for questions. Coach?
Yeah, I mean, just disappointed, obviously. Coming here to play TCU for senior night, going out did not start the way we wanted to start. The defense did great, 3 and out. First punt, getting ready to get the ball, and we go and try to stop the ball from rolling, and it bounces off our knee, and they get a ball there, and it cost us 7 points. And then now we're gun shy catching punts, and we don't field 3 of them that go inside the 15, 10-yard line, and it just kills us. Turnovers tonight, we end up with 3 turnovers to their 1. Obviously, was the difference in the game. Proud of our defense. We put them in some bad situations tonight. It's a very high-powered offense with some outstanding receivers, quarterback. I think they're 6th in the country in passing to hold them to 20 points. Outstanding job by our defense, and they gave us a chance. I think, again, great night by Corey. Man, he ran his butt off all year long. Did it again tonight. Finished, with another good game from him. I thought Sorsby played hard tonight as well. Probably, he ends up with 160 yards passing, but probably had 5 drops on the night, and that would have certainly helped a little bit of that. Ran hard as well. But again, I think, didn't score enough points. I mean, that's what it came down to, with 13 points tonight. I mean, it got tough there in the second half with the snow, and but I still think we were moving the ball pretty good, pretty effectively, and just didn't get it in the end zone enough. And but disappointed, But I think proud of these seniors. I really am. These guys that have done a great job, laid some great foundation here. Very resilient, never quit. Have been easy tonight again, just to lay it down. Didn't do it. Continue to fight. And that's the most thing I'm proud of with the seniors. And I really appreciate those guys.
For 7 or 8 games, you guys were the number 1 field position team in the country. What went wrong over these last 4 to make it flip so drastically?
Yeah, I mean, just it's one thing or another. It's tonight. It was trying to field a ball. It was trying, Then we don't catch the ball 3 times that go inside the 5-yard line. The one punt he had in the first half was 55 yards, but it landed at 32, 34, somewhere in that range, and it went 55 because we didn't field it. I mean, so that's a huge piece of it. It's just going up and catching the punt. I think, or it's punting the ball where you're supposed to punt it. Think about the last, 3 or 4 games. Punting the ball where you're supposed to punt it. It's just really just doing your job, what you're supposed to do. That we did in the first probably 6 or 7 games. In the last 3 or 4, we did not. It all works when everybody's just supposed to do when they do their job, and we just didn't do it, and therefore you lose the field position battle. And these games that are so freaking close, that come down to it. Those are the extra yards that you need to get, obviously, to get you over the hump.
Coach, that interception in the corner of the end zone really hurt. As far as momentum, what did you see on that play? And was that a play where Sorsby probably should have just thrown it away? Yeah,
it's a play. We haven't run that play. We're bringing guys inside, trying to create some mesh and try to get out. Tony got grabbed on that play as he's headed out right there. So he's trying to throw it to. Yeah, it really obviously should have thrown it away. Just throw it out of the back of the end zone because you really just want to get points at that point. We did a good job to get down there. And didn't get him loose enough out there, so he threw it in the back corner, but the defender's running there. So we got to throw that out of the back of the end zone. And that, again, that's just, forcing the ball when you don't need to force it.
In large part, most areas your team progressed from last season. Special teams wasn't one of them. What, I guess, needs to change the biggest?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to assess that whole aspect of special teams. We've got to make sure we have the proper guys. I think, Max in practice has been a really good punter. Hopefully he'll be able to continue and do some great things at punting. Go figure out, in the kicking, as far as kicker goes, who we need to get for that, because it's such a valuable commodity to have a great kicker. Knock down some field goals, as we know. You think about 2 games coming to mind, Pitt and Texas Tech this year, just to be able to knock those down. And then also, as you look at, all right, who's going to be the returners? I think that's huge. We're not a threat this year really in the return game because, we never got anybody going in that. So we got to do a great job with that. So it really comes down to some personnel, but then also really evaluate what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? How can we get better? How can we get better in the kicking game? Because we're not far off, man. I mean, we're not far off. We're 5-7. I know that's disappointing. Everybody hates it. I hate it. It sucks. We're not that far off. I mean, again, if you just a couple of plays and a couple of things we do right in the kicking game, or turnovers, we all looking at that thing, it's a lot different. And so yeah, we're going to reevaluate. We'll reevaluate the whole program. We'll figure out what we got to do better. I mean, offense, defense, and kicking, but certainly kicking in the last 3 to 4 weeks, I think it's really amplified to where we need to get better at that.
8 wins in 2 seasons, Scott. Why should the fan base be confident in the direction of this program?
Yeah, well, because we're trending up and we're going in the right direction. We played a lot of young players tonight. I look out on defense. Simeon's making tackles. Monte Wheaton, Sanks. These are all true freshmen that came in and had a huge impact on our team. And not only them, we played a bunch of freshmen across the board. Those guys are going to get better in the offseason. We feel like we got a great nucleus of guys coming back that really competed at a high level this year in the Big 12. The Big 12, as we all know, is an extremely competitive conference. I mean, everybody's got at least 2 losses in this league. Everybody's beating everybody up, and in order to win these games, you have to be very buttoned up. Meaning, the least amount of mistakes are teams are going to win. The penalties, the turnovers, the kicking game. So we're not that far off. We'll get a few more pieces to the puzzle this off season here in the next 3 to 4 weeks, because we all know signing date's Wednesday next week, and then the portal's going to open up, and it's going to be fast and crazy for about 3 weeks in December. And a lot of times in that effort right there can make or break how you're going to be next year. You're going to be very good. You're going to be average. And so we've already started on that. We feel good about the next 3 weeks.
Scott, you mentioned special teams. What is next on your list of what you need to most be worried about as you head into the off season?
So be worried about, like, what do you mean?
What's like the next thing you're most focused on?
Oh, well, it's number for the next month. It's acquiring talent. That's the most thing that we're focused on. It's like getting players in here that can come help us win. And we've got pretty much got our signing class ready to roll, which will again be next Wednesday, and then it starts for the portal. And we all know now this year we're not going to take as many in the portal as we did last year. I think last year we take 26 or 7 last year. This year we're probably going to be 12 to 14. So we're limited in that because we don't feel like we're in pretty good shape. We fill in some gaps. So there's another reason where I think we've developed some depth, and now these guys will help add to that. And so the next 3 to 4 weeks, that's all we're doing is recruiting every day, and trying to get some great talent in here. And then we'll be reassessing the whole program and all the things we got to do to make us better.
You didn't throw as much in the first half, I think 25 yards. And then the snow comes, and then in the second half, you're throwing a lot in the snow. Were those plays just not there in the first half?
Well, I mean, I think a little bit was happening with the turnovers. You fumble with muff the things, so you don't get as many plays. I think they had more plays there early in the game, and then then we get a fumble, give the ball right back to them. I think we were trying to establish the run. We felt like if we can do that, keep their offense off the field, which was going to be our best defense. And try to stay on the sticks as well. So if you go to throw it and you're incomplete, well, now you're a long yardage situation again. And then in the second half, we knew we had to come back out and open it up a little bit more in the second half, which we did. And it was tough sledding out there. We had several drops. They did too. But I do think we were able to open it up a little bit more there with throwing the football in the second half and got a little bit more comfortable with it.
You've had seasons where you've had a lot of staff turnover in the offseason. How confident are you that this staff and pool of assistants is the group that you need to get this program to where you want it to be?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think we're heading in the right direction. I think these guys have done an outstanding job. I think this was one of the more connected teams we've ever been a part of. We love coming to work. We love being with these guys. I know people want wins, and I do too. But I do think that is a great foundation to get wins. I think if you get the right people, they're going to keep giving you a chance to win games. And I think our guys do an outstanding job. So we'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at with it. Again, we're going to evaluate everything. Every personnel in our department we're going to evaluate. We'll sit down and look at every single one, every person, and decide what we want to do. And then also, can we get better, like as an individual, each person. And I think that's what we have to do, and you do that every single year. So we're going to evaluate it all and see where we're at with it.
I know this probably isn't at the top of your priority list right now, but there is a chance that you could get invited to a bowl game. Is that something you would accept if given the opportunity?
Well, I mean, I said in the locker room to those guys, I mean, I wish we could keep going with these guys. I mean, we enjoy working with them. They bring it every day. And so, again, that'll be something we'll look at and evaluate. I have no idea where that's at with as far as how many teams win or didn't win today with that. But we'd certainly love to play some more ball, just like we like being around each other, we like competing.
Towards the end of the game, there was a reset of the play clock. And
Yep.
it seemed there were a lot of conversations going on with the referees during the timeouts. Was there some miscommunication happening with the referees towards the end
Yes.
of the game?
Second.
Yes, it's unbelievable, actually. The clock, he said he was trying to reset the clock with the clock operator. He said he wasn't looking at him. And so when he finally looked at him, it was already down to 12 seconds. And so they reset it back up to 25. Well, the game clock's running. Well, now it goes to 2 minutes. They should have snapped the ball before the 2 minute warning, which would have saved us 40 more seconds. And he had no explanation.
It happened earlier on a punt too, didn't it? When they delayed bringing their punt team in, they reset
Yeah,
the
I was
clock.
wondering what happened on that. They didn't even give me an explanation on that one. But yeah, I
It
know
was at
exactly what you're talking
16.
about. Yes,
they
the
ran
clock
the
was
punt
running.
team
Yes.
in and they reset the clock.
Yeah, but that's 40 more seconds. You think about having the ball. We had the ball at plus 45 at the end of the game there. If we had 40 more seconds, it just came off the 5-yard line, so we just went 50 yards. 40 more seconds would have been awesome to have, and it really wasn't a good explanation.
Scott, you mentioned last year that it was going to be an extremely difficult winter for your program.
Yes.
Going into this winter, what do you anticipated? I know you touched on earlier with what your priorities
Yeah.
are. What do you anticipate it looking like in the winter before spring practice in March?
Yeah, and so as we go and evaluate our whole program, looking at the ways and things that we need to get better at, in several games, it's, errors. If we're having errors, how can we get those corrected? So, when we go through our winter program this year, it will be difficult. It will be hard. I feel like we'll do a lot more football-specific drills as well. The thing that, as you look at winter programs, a lot of times you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to gain weight, you're trying to do all those things, but we're going to have to incorporate football aspect of what we're doing within the off season. Meaning, after a big workout, we're tired, we're hurting. Let's do some football stuff, obviously within the rules, and to see how mentally sharp we are, because that's where we got to get better. And I think as we evaluate that, we'll look at that. We got to look at spring practice. We got to look at how we're doing that. We got to look at how we're going to get better between now and we play our first game next year, and the way the calendar looks and the way the calendar falls, and are the roster limits going down to 105? Yeah, that's another thing. If you're looking, where guys have 118 or 120 guys, now you got 105. Well, you got to look. You got less people. So all these things will be evaluated and do the best thing we can do to help our team win.
Scott, final question.
You have guys that have eligibility left. One of those, Joe Royer, how important would it be to retain him?
Yeah, obviously it'd be a great for us to be able to retain Joe and get him back here. I mean, he's gonna look and see where he's at in the NFL and evaluate that. And he's certainly a guy who can get drafted and see where he wants to do. If he want to come back and continue to develop and to get better and better, I feel like he's got a huge ceiling. He can get better and better. But we know he's a talented player, and but hopefully he's coming back and we can make a good run at it next year.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.